everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today it's Friday the 14th of March and Dad and I were taking out the cows and calves today. So yesterday we took out the stores and next job is the cattle with the calves at foot. That's what we're doing today, taking some of the strongest cows and calves out and drop them off. So it'll be another morning of this and we should get the ones we wanted to get out. Dad's going on in the gator, he gets them in and then checks the rest of the livestock, and I cart all the cattle and stores to the pound and then we sort them from there. So far we've been lucky with the weather. If it stays like this we'll be able to get the rest of the livestock out and then more or less we'll be all sorted ready for summer, which will be quite good. So touch wood, the weather stays strong, stays good for us. Arrived, we're taking these cows to some other marshes. Dad's whizzed off. He can whiz off into the distance because the gator's so fast along here, because it doesn't, you can hit a bump in the gator and it's not too bad, whereas the tractor you got to go steady. I've got the cows on the back, you know, so you got to take your time, whereas Dad's gone off forward. It's quite handy with the gator to open all the gates and get everything ready. So lovely day coming through the woods. And off they go. Dropped off the cattle. I'm now feeding the fodder beet to the ones which are still at home and the younger calves. You can eat your dinner off the floor today. Yeah, best tractor on the farm, this one. Goes on forever. I've done the fodder beet, now I'm tidying up the yard, pushing up the muck pile from all the cows which we've just taken out and all the rest of it. So we'll get the pile sorted out and then try and find a way before long to do something with the muck pile, because it is getting quite big now. Get this lot sorted out. Not ideal, but it'll have to do until we get the muck out. The last bales of the silage to feed some of the suckler cows. We've got to be really careful how we feed this out now, because obviously we literally haven't got any left hardly. So the last little pile of it, we've got to ration it out. I've got a couple of these like old bales which we use for the wall. Hopefully next year we use the Lego concrete blocks which I looked at Lewis Concrete, but for now we're going to use these old bales for bedding down some of the cows. So we're in the old shed now and I can't get in here with the tallyhawk unfortunately, so I've got to bed this down the old way. It is too low, but we'll hopefully knock this whole part of the farm down before long and then we'll try and modernise it, but for now this is the old way. All these old wet bales to bed down. This is how we've always bedded up, like the old way, but the trouble is after a while you'll do your bushings in on the boom if you keep doing it. And that was something I was thinking about the tallyhawk, is it saves your machine of wear and tear. So I'll drop this down and the cattle will knock that about, they'll sort it all out. But yeah, that is one good thing about the straw blower over doing it the old way, is you save wear and tear on the telehandler. Taking the wrap off this silage, we'll chuck this in the feed trailer. Alright, we'll just let them out. They got straw, they got food. Alright, we've bedded the bulls down. Now we're going to bed down the indoor cows, which are left to calve. Just finishing it off now on the outside, so we'll just get the little bits done, and that'll be these cattle bedded down. Alright, that's what I'm talking about. Much better. I'll let the cows in now. Let them in. Whee! Done a brilliant job there. Awesome. Awesome job. Alright, we've bedded down, scraped out, fed up and everything, and now we've got to replace the filters on the 6R because it's only 80 hours away from a service, but because of all the modern fuel these days, trying to save the environment, like I think they've put in some sort of biofuel in the diesel we buy these days, we have to change the fuel filters more frequently, so I've got to change 2 filters which I keep in stock all the time. These ones have been in the workshop since last year because I'm always worried about when the fuel filters go, I'm carting or we've got to go and do some mowing or something like that. I always need some filters on hand rather than be in a bit of a pickle and not be able to use the tractor. First things first, we have to unplug the old filter. It's got a plug on it which tells you how much water, if you've got water in the fuel. Very handy, but also makes the tractor very complicated. You know, complications, as we were just on the old 434, it's a lovely old reliable tractor, whereas these new ones, they are very complicated to work on. Plug to undo for the computer. Be able, that's it. So we've taken the whiff sensor off, water and fuel sensor. Now we have to take this off. When I put the filters on, put them on finger tight. Try not to over tighten them. You're never going to be able to get your fuel filter off. So there we go, that is our fuel, and this is what's been filtering out all the muck in the fuel. So we've got to get rid of the old filter, put the new one on there. Now I was going to put fuel from the old filter in the new filter, but that's only going to clog up the new filter because of all the sediment in it. So I try and put sort of clogged up old fuel in old filters in our older tractors because they'll burn it easily, whereas the new ones will struggle and it'll probably just clog up the new filter. So this tractor doesn't mind what sort of fuel it has. It'll just burn anything. Old school rig. New fuel filter. Now we're doing the one on the engine side. You just got to take the engine panel off. Gonna pop this one on. I just noticed there's a small piece here which says made in England. Probably the only part of this tractor which has been made in England. I know they put the engines together in France, and I was just looking, that's the NOx sensor over there for the AdBlue, all that sort of thing. I mean, to be fair, they are complicated, these new tractors, but these 6Rs, when they brought them out, the 6155, it was supposed to be, you know, quite a well-made, reliable tractor. And there is a fair bit of room in here, you know, to work on and all that. But they have become a lot more complicated these days, these tractors. So yeah, pop this one on anyway. Just a little bit, just enough so it's on. Tightened up. Because remember, it's got to come off again in another 300 odd hours or whatever it is. You know, if we flick the ignition on, well, the fuel pump should self-prime. Don't know if you can hear that noise down there. They're filling up with fuel again. There you go, front one's filled up, look. Right, I want to see what's been clogging up this filter. Well, that was what I managed to find. It's like this sort of black, gunky stuff in the filters, and it never used to be much of an issue, but we seem to be getting a lot of it now in the filters, and it sort of clogs them up after literally a couple of 100 hours. And I think it's got something to do with the modern biodiesel these days. So if anyone knows anything about it, let me know in the comment section. But yeah, very expensive, these filters. These used to cost me £106 for the pair. Now they've gone up to 150 for the pair. So we're looking at an increase of £50 for the filters every time. You know, it all adds up. So yeah, a bit annoying, but there we go. Got the tractor back up and running. We'll take some more cattle out over the next few days. The weather's looking good. We'll get the sugar beet planted soon. So with that, thanks for watching. Keep liking and subscribing, all that good stuff. Hope you're enjoying the weather, and I'll catch you on the next one. Click here to subscribe to the channel, and click here to watch another Olly's Farm video.